yesterday, and I was okay with maybe like Samir and special, like what are something you need to have understanding of. You please let me know, Samir. Very good morning to you. So you can let me know anytime, Samir, on your understanding. If you are feeling like you can't get some of the concept or I didn't explain that well, please let me know. I'll try to redo the same for you. So on yesterday's part, something like if you aren't comfortable, you can let me know, Samir. Okay. Okay, friends. So that's what we saw on joins yesterday, joins and unions. Hope you all got good clarity on how the joins is working and this is working. Okay, that's great, Sam. For Sam, he has reinstalled Tableau and it is working good now. Okay, thank you, Sam. Thanks for that information. Good to know that your Tableau is working again. Okay. So we saw about something called cross joins. So cross joins are something, the concepts which got introduced later. So before cross joins got introduced, whenever we had to connect to multiple sources, in Tableau we had to use something called data blending. Okay. So we'll see what this data blending is. Okay. So data blending is nothing but when you are having two source systems. So assume that you have two data warehouses. So one would be like a SQL Server data warehouse, or you are having a SQL Server data warehouse, and the other one is going to be a Oracle-based data warehouse system. So out of these two data warehouses, what you would like to do is you would like to take a particular table from here, from this data warehouse. So data warehouse is nothing but a collection of large tables and objects. It's a totally denormalized structure that we call them as data warehouse. So when we are taking inside the data warehouse, there are a couple of data marts. Nothing but data marts are nothing but individual tables. So in a data mart, when you are seeing, you are trying to combine the data from both this. So this is very similar to a cross join, friends. This concept is very similar to a cross join. However, data blending in certain cases, like what happens is, data blending can help you out in certain scenarios. I'll tell you where it is. Okay. So for data blending, so data blending can be used in certain scenarios. Okay. Then there is, so for example, when you have a matching column, so what is the main thing when a cross join is required? So what is the important requirement of a cross join? Can anyone tell me what is the important requirement of a cross join? So do we need to have a same column name available in both the sources? Is this true, friends? Do we need to have a similar column name in both the sources? Samir is saying, say similar column name, the metadata should match. There should be at least one common column in both the table of the same data type, right? Okay, and it has to be a matching metadata. Yes, I mean the values must be different. That's true. But it should have a similar data type. That is, the metadata of this should match. Metadata in the sense, it is about data about the data, which is going to talk about the column types and other things, metadata. So we should have a similar column type. That is basically a data type. Column type is nothing but a data type. So you should have a similar data type. And not mandatory to have a same column name. Not mandatory. Okay. So in certain scenarios, friends, in certain cases, wherein you cannot go for a data cross joins always. Okay. So I'll tell you a typical example there. Okay. So I'm opening my Tableau. I would like everyone to open Tableau from your end also. Okay. So there would be certain real-time scenarios wherein you cannot go for a cross join because the data sources what we are going to use that might not support this cross join operation. Okay. I'll tell you when which scenarios that would be taken. Okay. For example, there is some kind of connector called OData. I don't think you will be able to see that in Tableau public, but if you are having a Tableau desktop one, and you can make use of that OData connector. Okay. So this OData connector is used for connecting to some system called SharePoint systems. Okay. So this is one of the SharePoint side what we have. Okay, when you are going to connect to this OData systems, which is going to be your SharePoint system, or when you are going to connect to something called web data connectors. If you just click on this web data connector, this is basically going to click going to an website. Okay. So in certain scenarios, when this OData connector is used, or in other type of connections are used, what happens is you cannot have a cross join applied there, because in certain cases this will not support cross joins at some point of time, but not like I'm saying all data connections will not support, but there may be situations where you cannot go for a cross join. So that's going to be a rare scenario what I'm talking here. So in that point of time, we go to a concept called data blending. So data blending is nothing but it is very similar to cross join. Okay, and here basically in a data blending part, cross join is something like it is not so it is very similar to a normal joins what we are doing across the table. So I'm just going to walk you through about what we have about this particular thing, data blending, what kind of joins are being used. So generally, friends, I generally prefer going to this particular URL for checking any of these steps. So I would like you all also to make a note of this particular URL. So here, this is going to be like a Tableau repository there. So whatever contents you wanted, whatever concepts you would like to have a look, you can basically search them out here. Okay. So data blending is something a different concept. Okay, so for let's first see what are going to be the prerequisites of data blending. So as per the prerequisites, what they are saying, so this is very similar. It supplements the table data from one source with columns from the second data source. So usually you use joins to perform this kind of data combination, but there are times depending on factors like type of data and its granularity when it is better to use data blending. Okay, so this is an example what they had given here. Okay, suppose you have a transactional data source in Salesforce. See, here they are taking a Salesforce source system, okay, and a quota data stored in an Excel workbook. So they are basically going to combine the data from a Salesforce source system and that of an Excel workbook. The data you want to combine is stored in a different databases. Okay. So basically the data whatever they have stored, it is not in the same database, it is totally in a different database. Okay. So totally the system itself is totally different. In that case, so data blending is the best way to combine the data. See, when to go for a data blending, friends? It is generally recommended to go for a data blending when you want to combine data from different databases that are not supported by cross database join. So, for example, other cross joins do not support the connections to cubes. So assume that I am having an Oracle S-based cube and I would like to combine that with that of my Excel sheet or with my Salesforce data or with any other data sources which are totally in a different databases. That point of time, cross join might not support that. So in those scenarios, we generally go for a concept called data blending. Okay. So here I'll share you this link, friends. You can have a look. They are given like detailed information about what exactly is going to be in data blending, how things are working there. So these things they would be giving. Okay. So I'll show you a live example here. So any questions here, friends, on data blending? Why we need to go for a data blending? Do you have any doubts or questions? Please let me. Okay. Hope the concept of data blending is clear to you all. Why we need to go for data blending? Okay. Okay then. Now let's jump into an example of what exactly we have it there. We'll see it in the materials what we have. So this is like two different data sources. So data blending is used to connect disparate data sources. So build actionable analytical data set, apply transformation to enrich the data quality, gain new insights in the self-service BI concept. Okay. Now what I will do is I'll try to combine two different data sources. Yes, yeah, Manikandan. The limitations of data blending is there. Basically, the main limitation of data blending is performance. So, in a normal cross join, when you had seen my screen yesterday, friends, you must have seen that a single data connection was available when I was doing a cross join. A single data connection in the sense, though we were combining data from multiple source systems, I was forming the query at my data source level. So what I was doing, I'll just redo that once again. So for example, in a cross join between the sales.xlsx and I was trying to do a cross join between the sales.xlsx file and I was trying to do it with a CSV file, right? These two was the cross join what I was trying to do. So here when I was trying to do a cross join yesterday, I just added a connection from here, and if you see like there is something called text file. Can you see here? When I am trying to add a new connection, by default this OData is not supported. Tableau server is not supported. JSON file is not supported. So when you have to use these kind of source systems there, friends, that point of time, can you see here? The number of supported data sources, Google Analytics is not supported, and many other things are not supported in cross joins. Can you see here? Salesforce is not supported. SAP NetWeaver, these things are not supported when I am trying to add a connection from here. That means these are the sources which are not supporting my cross join. So that's why they are not highlighted here. It will be highlighted when I am trying to do a data blending. I will show you how to do the data blending. It's slightly a different way. Okay. So now coming to Manikandan's question. So we have connected an Excel sheet, and we have connected a raw sheet here. So what is happening in Tableau here is at my data source level. So this is my data source. So at my data source level itself, my join operation has been performed. My join operation has been performed in the sense I have got my results and my result is here at my data source itself. So when I'm going to my sheet from my data source, at that point of time, I'm just able to see one particular connection there. So one, I'm able to see that, and which is saying, which has both these objects. So my underlying join operation has been performed that point of time. However, I'll show you the same thing when we are trying to do a data blending. I'll show you how this is working when I'm trying to do a data blending. Okay. So here in the data blending, the same thing has to be done at the runtime. So what happens on a fly inside your sheet, you need to make this joins happening. You need to manually do that joins. It will not get joined automatically as we are doing it here. That it has to be done manually there, and then on the runtime, when the report is getting executed, that point of time the join operation would be performed for each and every row. So in terms of performance, cross joins are like 10 times faster compared to a data blending. So that is the biggest limitation of data blending. So data blending, that's the reason why it is not recommended for in terms of performance aspect. Data blending is not recommended, but however, if you are not having any other option, you have to do that. That point of time you go for data blending. Okay. Thank you, Manikandan. Okay, friends. So now what I'll do, I'll just remove this existing connections. Okay, I'll just remove one connection here and just remove the sales alone. Okay. Now what I'm doing, I'll just go to my sheet 1 here. So in my sheet 1, I have removed my sales. I'll just say like renaming this as sales 2016. I just renamed my sheet as sales 2016, and this is my connection. Now what I'm going to do is, friends, as I told you, there are more than one way of adding a data source. I'm just going here and I'm saying add a new data source. Okay. So now when I'm trying to add a new data source, my OData connector, the Tableau server, and my Salesforce and my Cube connections, everything got enabled. Can you see that? So earlier when I was trying to do that point of time from a previous window, that was not getting highlighted, but now we are able to see that. Okay. So now at this point of time, friends, what I am going to do is I'll just try connecting to a different source file system. Let me see if I can connect to an Access database. I think I have an Access database here, so which we call it as Coffee Chain Sample Store. I think I have to search for that. Let me first check if I'm having an access. Yeah, I have an access data source. So this is sample coffeechain.mdb. This is an access file, friends. I'm trying to join this and this. Okay. So I'm opening an access data file connection. I'm clicking on open. And now I'm going to establish a connection to this particular source system. So in this coffee chain, we have something called product. I'm just taking out the product. Let me see if I'm having some common fields. Product type, product ID, and these things are not common. And let me see if I'm having a location common, and I'll take area code, state, market size. Maybe I can use this, or let me see if I have a better source system. Okay, let me check. Okay, so now I have added a different source connection, friends. After I added a new data source, can you see what is happening there at my sheet 1? I'm able to see two different databases. Earlier it was one single database, and next becomes two different databases. So from here, what I would be doing, I'll be taking the product and I'll be dragging and dropping my products over here. So assume that I'm taking my product here. So these are my coffee products, and there is something called sales 2016 which is there. Okay, and can you see, as soon as I drag my product here, my database symbol has changed to blue, which means this is going to be my primary data source. So which indicates this small blue color tick mark indicates that this is going to be my primary data source. And when I wanted to combine this particular data with my sales 2016, and can you see a symbol is appearing here, this market. And in my primary data source, there is a symbol, so I'm not able to see that particular symbol there. So here the joins are not done by default here, friends. That is one thing to note. So here the joins are not done by default. It is you need to do this joins there. So you have to establish a join condition here directly, friends. You cannot wait for, as we did in cross join, we were not able to see the join operation performed here directly. It is saying a symbol is appearing here, kind of a market symbol is appearing. And you see, as and when I checked this particular, clicked on this symbol, kind of a pin, bell pin kind of symbol this. So I just clicked on the symbol, automatically an orange color tick mark came in my secondary database. So what do you think is happening here, friends? Can anyone tell me what is happening here? And also I'm just showing you this data set, and let me know why a symbol is appearing only for market and not for all other fields. Why that is happening? Why not for product, state, type, and why only for market I'm getting this symbol? Why that is happening? Okay, Shweta is saying the field market is available in both the sources. Jayashree is saying it is the only matching field, and Sagar is saying maybe it is a common data. Okay, common column. Okay. Any other answers, friends? Sameer, anything? Okay. So how does the join generally work, friends? Join works on a common column. When I introduced you to data blending, I told you it is very similar to a cross join. However, here column names have to be mapped manually, and the join condition has to be specified. Join condition has to be specified explicitly here. So here what it means is, friends, nothing but we have a matching column name here. What Tableau is suggesting us, hey, you see, out of these two data sources what you have added, I'm able to see something called market, which is a field which is having a same column name as we have it in the other table. So I'm able to see that particular column, you can match with that column. That is what it is saying. So it is saying you can basically do a data blending by joining these two columns. So that is why when I'm clicking on this particular symbol, my secondary data source has been enabled, and I'm able to see this particular market field as going to be my blending field there. And you see that if I'm unclicking that, my database tick symbol is gone. That is the reason why it has happened. Okay, friends, this may be a small thing what we are seeing here, but however, this would be like this should be useful for you in understanding the data blending concepts. Okay, so here we are manually mapping this. So after I map this particular column, I can pull any of the fields from this source and then drag and drop it here, and it is showing me a null for a product ID. Why is it showing null for product ID, friends? Because this is totally a different product, and this is just going to be totally a different product, and there are no matching items between these two. So I'm just getting empty rows for everything there within this product, and just going to take the market here and drop the market. Even in market I'm getting null. Why do you think that this is happening now, friends? Why we are getting null values? Why there is a null value, friends? So when do we get a null value? Yesterday we were seeing the concept of join. Exactly, Samir. Then there are no data that is matched between the two sheets. That point of time we get a null value, right? So generally, this is one more concept what I would like to tell you, friends. In a data blending, generally you will non-matching rows we get a null value. That's exactly right, Kanya. Thanks for the great answers. So this is what it is. So the difference between joins and data blending, I didn't introduce this concept to you, but I just asked if you had known it since we studied join yesterday. Okay, so data blending is basically going to replicate the left join concept here. So what happens in left join? It takes all records from left table and matching records from the right table. So it is taking all records from product, that is my primary data source. Can you see tick symbol is appearing to indicate that this is going to be a secondary data source. So basically a left join is being performed here. So all records from my primary table came and matching records from my secondary table will be displayed here. If there is no matching record, that case I am getting nulls instead of those. A typical example they are given here. For example, this user ID, district, level and type. Suppose you have a following table, common columns are user ID and partner ID. So assume that this is the user ID and we have a partner ID. We are basically going to do a join based on these two IDs. So we have some common columns between these two, some common values between these two. So what it will happen? This one is there 2 times and here the one is there 2 times. So 2 into 2, 4 times 1 will get repeated. It will become a Cartesian product there. So 1, 2, 3 and 4. 4 times 1 is getting repeated. Next we get 2 and then next we get 4. So totally all records from my left table 2, 4 and matching records from my right table, that is 1, which is getting repeated 4 times. So data blending basically is a left join only, friends. Okay, you cannot perform other type of joins in data blending. So it is like you cannot do right join, inner join, cross joins, full outer joins. Those things you cannot do that. It is left join by default. Okay, you got it? Why we are getting the null values? So for each and everything, small thing what we are trying to do, we should understand that concept, friends, so that we are okay with proceeding to the next concept there. So that's how we will go this entire module. Maybe whatever small concept it may be, unless until you are understanding it fully, I'm not going to move ahead for the next. Okay. And you feel free to stop me at any time, friends, which you do not understand. Okay. So this is what they are saying. A blue color tick mark indicates. So a primary data source is the first field what you are trying to drag and drop. That would become your primary data source. So here they have joined the coffee chain and office city by a state column. So they are doing a data blend 8 column here. Okay. So why null is coming as ABC there? Lopita has a question. Yeah, Lopita. So the null is coming as ABC is because for now I just dropped it in the column, then I'm just dropping it in the row shelf. That point of time you see null will come. The reason for that is when we are dropping it here, it seems to be some values would be there, available there. So for now there is no matching rows in the column shelf, so that's why it is displaying as ABC only. When I'm just dropping it in my row shelf, automatically it is showing me null values. Okay. Okay, friends. So this is the concept about data blending. Okay. So now we'll see what we have it there in our presentation. Okay. So here you know how to identify a primary data source and how to identify a secondary data source. So whatever data source which you are going to drag and drop the first time, that becomes the primary. The second time when you are taking, that becomes a secondary data source. Right. Nice question, Kanya. Okay. So generally, what other fields you feel that in your report or in your dashboard that you need to use it in your report? So what are the important business fields that you think is required by your business partners? Those important fields, we will be putting them in column shelves and row shelves. Kanya. So there is a separate module here. No, not row doesn't mean it's measure. Row is not measures. You can drop anything there in rows or columns. So basically, it doesn't have any. Your Tableau allows you to do that freely. So irrespective of whatever things that you are doing, you can do that. So it doesn't restrict you in column shells and row shells. This fields only has to be dropped. That is like whatever fields you think it would be the important fields. For example, I want my product in horizontal level. So I want my view to be aligned this way. I'm just dropping my product there. So if I want my sales also to appear there, I'm just dropping my sales here. So if I want my sales to be appearing here, I'm just dropping it here. So it is basically based on your requirement. You can drop any fields anywhere. There is no hard and fast rule that it has to be dropped here only or there only. Nothing like that. So this is basically based on the view what you prefer doing. So there is absolutely no restriction that this field has to be dropped there. How you will know what field to drop that? That depends on what is your business expecting from you. So what kind of view that they wanted. So based on that, we decide which view to go for. You got it, Kanya? We'll be seeing in detail about this, but don't worry. For now, you understand that this can be dropped anywhere. Okay, thank you. So this is what we saw in data blending sense. So automatically, Tableau is basically querying for sum of. So here they are taking the sum of sales, which is there in both the sheets. So Tableau is querying for sum of sales by state to each data source, then displaying those values together in the view. So we see sales information for every state office because Tableau returns information. So basically it looks for each and every data source and then performs the joins and operations. That's where it will be taking more time. So the main difference between data blending and cross join, data joining and data blending. Combining data between two more tables or sheets within the same data source is data joining. For example, collecting information from two sheets or tabs within a single Excel file. Combining data from two or more different databases or different sources. Maybe this comparison part, I'm not that happy with the, whatever contents has been given, but maybe I would say I would prefer you following it up what is given there in that Tableau help link, because that is more precise. This is at very generic level this has been done. I will work with this Eduveka team to change the course contents of this. This is not looking appropriate. So this is like confusing for me. I'm not sure if it is clear for you, but for me it is confusing. So just saying like within the same sheets only you can perform data joining, but not the case. We can perform cross joins, right? So that's not the case. So this is slightly confusing for me. So you can ignore this slide. So and these are some when to use data blending. This is important. So it is generally preferred to avoid data blending when you can combine two data sources outside the Tableau. So when you can perform a join between the tables or you can combine the data together, that point of time you can avoid data blending. Okay, so that is one option. And if there is not an option, then you must identify at least one common variable shared by two data sources and you can blend it together. So whenever it's possible, go for a join rather than blend. If you need to combine two data sources, whatever cannot manage outside Tableau. Okay, friends. So how many joins can be performed in Tableau? No one asked me this question, but since you didn't ask me, I'm asking you. How many joins can be performed in a Tableau? You're saying 5, Samir is saying 5, and others are saying it's As per previous slide, it is saying 5. No, friends, I'm saying how many tables we can combine. Sorry, maybe I have to restructure my question. My question was how many tables we can combine in a join. If you outer, left, right, whatever join. So how many tables we can combine in a join? Uh, 250, 24, okay. I think it's wild guesses are coming out. Number of tables, 1, okay. 2 tables, okay. Okay, friends, no. So how many tables you can perform join in a normal SQL server or Oracle system? Number of tables -1, Shweta is saying, yeah, that is basically for the number of tables that is required to perform joins. Shweta is saying the formula in the number of tables -1. Actually, friends, this is a very important interview question. The number of joins that can be performed in a Tableau is number of joins that case like I'm just had one table here, and I'm going to another data source and adding more tables like that. So like that, number of joins that can be, number of tables that can be joined together is 32 joins can be performed. 32 different tables or objects can be combined in Tableau. 32 is the max size. So it depends on your database also, but however the max size allowed in Tableau is 32. No, it is not specific to Oracle tables. I will have to check out how many tables Oracle can join. However, Tableau can perform joins with multiple tables. So yesterday we performed cross joins, right? I added multiple sales table, I added product table. Like that, I can add 32 tables in Tableau. 32 different tables. Okay, so it's basically the way the number is 32. Basically, it is on the restrictions on its memory, Shweta. So when you are performing a join, tables that data has to be combined and the columns have to be combined, and these things have to be merged together. So the memory capacity what Tableau can accommodate is maximum 32 tables in memory. So that is within memory. It can contribute around 32 tables. That is the max size it can accommodate to. So that's how they have designed Tableau for. And then mostly if you see most of the database itself, when you are performing joins in SQL Server and others, I think it is 32 only in SQL Server also. The maximum subqueries or joins that can be performed in a SQL Server database itself, I think it's 32. I'm not sure about Oracle, but in SQL Server it's 32. Okay, friends. So I think we'll. So now this is a time to test your knowledge. You let me know what would be the right answer for this question. Okay, Samir is saying 61 tables can be joined in MySQL. Okay. Yeah, Samir, it actually depends on the databases what we use. Each and everything has its own restriction in terms of merging. Okay, friends, for this question, most of you are saying inner join and some are saying A, B and D. Some are saying it's cross join. Okay. I need categories of a product whose sales is greater than 100%, $100. So, categories of products whose sales is greater than $100. Okay. That is the question, friends. Please read the question once again. Okay. Salim is saying then answer is C. You are saying it's right join. See here, they haven't mentioned how many records from which table and those things. They haven't mentioned anything. And Samir is saying we can go for A, B, C. Okay. Any of the answer? No. Actually here, some trick is there in this question. If you carefully see this answer, the answer is inner join. The reason is because inner join is the one returns all rows where there is at least one match in both the tables. So here we are going to join with the product ID from the sales table and the product ID from products table. When we are joining, at least if one match is found, inner join is going to give you the result. However, left join and the right join is not going to do the same. If you understand the question once again, I'm just going there. This might be slightly confusing for you, but I'm redoing the question again. I need the categories of products whose sales are greater than $100. So this greater than sales are greater than $100 is a bad condition. So that is fine. However, here the join that needs to be performed is, and see friends, inner join is the mostly used join across all the databases. So you need to see that. And why it is saying, because they are taking all products and joining with the all that of the sales table. They are joining based on product ID here. So product ID has to be, there has to be at least one match for that data. That is at least one common record has to be there. That is the reason why we are doing in order to get the accurate result. So return all rows when there is at least one match in both the. So assume that 100 products are there here in sales table and 100 there in product table, and there is only one product ID which is matching between both. That means only one sale has happened. Correct? That means that only sale has happened for one particular product. Are you all getting this, friends? Please let me know if it is not clear. Okay. Sure, Sagar, I can show you an example. Okay. So there is a sales table and product table. I think we'll take the cross join example itself. Okay, so I have closed the existing connections, whatever I had. Let me take the cross join example, what we had done. Okay. Sales and products table. Okay. This is my sales table. This is my products table. So these two data I have combined now, friends. So here I am performing inner join now based on my product ID between both the tables. Okay. Now what we will do, I am just going to this module 1 data set. And opening up this. This particular product ID I am taking, friends. Other than this product ID, so other than this row, I will be deleting all other records. So let me have this product ID alone. Okay. Okay, I think it's let me see if this is replaced in this product.csv file. I don't want to replace this, or else I may have to download it again. Okay, it has replaced it. It's okay. I can download it again. So I have only one product manufactured, friends. So this product table is going to have the list of all products what I have manufactured. Okay, and my sales table has the list of products that has been sold. Okay. Now, what is the question that they are asking? Let's recall to that question. So this is the only product for which sales has happened. Okay, $72.29. I will go back to the question what was asked. So here I need the categories of a product whose sales are greater than $100. Okay. So here the query what we require is we need a sales. So when will you consider that a sale has happened, friends? When will you consider that a sale has happened? So I'm having product table, I'm having sales table. When do you think a sales had happened? So I should see a product ID. When I'm matching with my product ID, I should have a matching product ID, the same ID what I had searched there. I should have a matching product ID here also, right? So here when I'm seeing in this column this particular product ID is available, that means I have sold this particular product what I have manufactured. Correct? That's how we assume that sales has happened, right? Correct. So we'll have a matching record in this product table. That's right, Hassan. So Sagar, you got, so when we are having a matching record which is available in the sales table, that point of time I will be saying that a sale have happened. My first condition here in this question is I need categories of a product whose sales. So first happen and then the sale has to be greater than $100. That is my second condition. My first condition is first the sale has to happen. So if I'm just seeing when a sale had to happen, can you see what is the result what we are getting? When we are using an inner join, so basically this particular product ID has been sold twice. 2 times the sale has happened for this particular product ID. One is 72 and other one is 327 for the same product ID. That's why we are getting 2 records here. So from these 2 records, if I am performing a left join, you see what is happening. Can you see? All records from my left table and matching records from my right table. So this is my left table. So sheet 1 sales is my left table. And this is how the join is working there. So inner join is the one which will give you the correct result, what is required. The other types of joins will not give you the right result. So that is the reason why we are using mostly in all scenarios, mostly we are using inner join. That's why here as well we are using it. Is this clear for everyone, friends? Okay, friends. So we shall, before starting module 2, we will just go for a break for 5 minutes, friends, and we will all come back in next 5 minutes. So in module 2, we are going to deep dive into the other concepts. So now you can complete your module 1 assignment, friends. So this weekend we have stuff for you. So Saturday, Sunday, I believe it's free time for you as it is a weekend. So you can complete the assignments for module 1. So we'll go for a break for 5 minutes, friends, and we'll all come back again. Okay friends, if you are all back, shall we start? Okay friends, so now we will see on module 2 on managing the extracts part. Okay, so we are going to cover these concepts there. So managing extracts, metadata, visual analytics. So we are going to see about what is data granularity. We haven't explored this marks card yet, so we'll do that. We'll show about the highlighting and introduction to some basic concepts in this module. Okay, so the first part is going to be extract. So managing extracts. So what do you think is an extract, friends? I showed you an extract file yesterday. So what do you think is an extract? Kanya is saying it's going to be a snapshot kind. You can work it in offline too, okay? I think Kanya has done a good amount of research on this extract. That's nice, Kanya. How about others, friends? So we have seen an extract. What do you think an extract is? Okay, Anil is saying it's an encrypted data stored in a compressed form. That's right. It's not a live data, right? That's true. Thank you. Thanks for the answers. So extract is nothing but extracting data from different databases. Samir is saying it's extracting data from different databases. Okay, no Samir, no, not exactly. That is not the answer what I was expecting. See here, in terms of connections, we have established a live connection here, Samir. Okay, between these two tables, the sales and the products table. So now what I will do, I will just remove this, friends. Okay, and I will just have the sales table alone. Okay, and now what I'm doing. So before going for extract connection, what I'm going to do in this sales table. Okay, let me go for this products table. Okay, I'm going to take a products table here, friends. Okay, I'll just remove the sales. I close the connection for the sales table. Close data source. So when I'm coming to this data source, I'll go to this products table, which is going to be a CSV file, products.csv. Okay. So this table I'm just opening. Okay, and when I am inserting some new records to this object. So to this table, I'm going to insert some records. Okay, so I'm going to insert one more record here. So let me have a product ID. Product ID. Let me give some ID. Test. I'm just going to give a same name. Whatever we had it in the previous row, we'll have it here. I'm going to save this record. I'm going to save it. I saved this file. So in a live connection, whenever I had to have this data, I just go here and do a refresh here. Can you see what happened? The new record, whatever I added, this record is available here. Okay. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to go for an extract connection. So as soon as I click on extract here, you see what is happening. I'm going to sheet 1. It is asking me to save my extract under my Tableau repository, under this folder what I showed you yesterday. It is asking me to save it under my Tableau repository, under my username, under my documents. It is saving wherever my installation file is available. It's asking me to save the Tableau data extract, TDE. So I am saving this Tableau data extract and I'm going to sheet 1 here. Now I have all my products here. And after I take an extract, and you see what is happening, extract includes all data from 10/5/2017, 8:14 and 14 AM. So till that second, whatever data was there in my source system, that data is available in this extract. So this is basically a snapshot of your data. Snapshot which was taken that point of time, and this data is getting saved in my local system, within my local system. So unlike live connection, it is not saved in the Tableau's memory. This is getting saved within my local system. It's a highly compressed and encrypted format of file. Okay, you got it? So after I'm doing this extract, now what I'm going to do, let me insert one more record here. Okay, I'm going to save this now, friends. I'll save it. Now, when I'm going to refresh the data source, can you see what is happening? I'm refreshing the data source. My data is not getting refreshed here. Why do you think this is not happening, friends? I have updated my source, but I'm not able to see that update here. Why? I'm going to refresh once again. Still I am not getting the record whatever I have added. Now I am going to that file and I am going to see if I have saved it. I am saving it once again. And now I am trying to refresh again. Still I am not getting the data. Why this is happening? Sagar is saying maybe because the data is got fixed due to the extract file created. Because it's picked up from the TDE where you saved it before. Since the data option is selected, Tableau is using extract. Extract has data that was saved at 8:14. You are not in a live session. Exactly. Absolutely. Sagar, Manikandan, Shweta, Kanya, Jayashri. That's absolutely the right answer. And we have, yeah, Prajakti also. Yep. TDE file is going to be a snapshot of the data what we have created. Hence, whatever updates what we make in that, we will not be able to see that here. Yeah, Manikandan, please. So Manikandan has a question. Exactly, Manikandan. I'm just going to show that to you next. So that was the next thing what I will be showing it to you. So this refresh button here, friends, which is getting enabled there. So the refresh one which is getting enabled there. Yes, Sam. I'll tell you that as well. And what business scenario you will be using, the live or extract connection, after I finish this. So here this refresh one, what you are seeing it, friends, this is basically going to refresh the data. So I cannot refresh it in a usual fashion. I need to refresh it in an extract level. I need to refresh. So this refresh here, what it is going to do, this is basically going to refresh my entire extract connection there. Whatever I'm having it, it's basically going to refresh that extract connection. So as soon as I click on refresh, and when I go to sheet 1, and again when I come back here, can you see? Now my test 1 value got inserted. And now my extract time has changed from 10/5/2017, 8:19:45 AM. Which means this refresh, what we see on top of this is for refreshing the extract. So whenever you are not in a live connection and you want to refresh your extract, you can make use of this option. In general scenarios, we do not do any refreshes from the workbook level, friends. We will be doing the refresh from the server side. We will be scheduling a refresh from the server side every day. I want this extract to be refreshed on 7 AM Eastern time. So my data gets updated. So that is where we do generally the refreshes. However, since we are working at the workbook level, if you want to refresh, you can just click on this option so that the new record gets inserted. So here I can just insert one more record called test 2 and show that to you once again. So this is test 2 and we have these items. Okay, so I'm just saving this for now, and when I'm clicking on this refresh button, then only it will get refreshed. This is for refreshing the extract. Can you see here now it has changed to a cancel button, and when I just go to the sheet and come back again, that point of time my data will get refreshed. So can you see writing metadata, executing the metadata and these information? It's basically recreating my extract. That's what it is doing. Now my time has changed to 8:20. So that is where this refresh button is used. You got it, Manikandan? Okay. And for the question what Sam asked, when to go for an extract and when to go for a live connection. So what is the business scenario? Okay. So when your data set is really in a large volume, Sam. So whenever your data sets are huge, that point of time, I told you yesterday, Tableau has a capacity of in-memory processing of around 10,000 records when it is in a live connection. It can load at a time 10,000 records. So assume that you are having 100 million records in your source and you are creating a live connection with that source. So definitely there will be performance issues there. And extract connections are generally preferred for improving the performance of the dashboards or improving the performance of your workbook. Generally, extracts are preferred over live connections. And most of the scenarios, like 95% of the scenarios, we go for extract connections only in a normal business scenario. Because mostly we will have a large amount of data. Whenever the data size is very small, that is, it's not going to be an impact that much and it has to go for a live connection only. That point of time we go for live data. So it basically depends on what is going to be the size of your data source and also in terms of the performance aspect. We generally prefer going for a extract connection compared to a live connection. Does this answer your question, Sam? Okay, thank you. So this is where we would be using the extract, okay? And as I told you, there is always more than one way to do the same job in Tableau. There is more than one way to do that. So the other way would be to refresh the extract. Can you see here there is an option called refresh all extracts. Even this I can use. Or what I can do, I can just go to my data pane, go to this particular data source, and I can go to refresh. So this is the option, what I can use. Even that I can do if I'm just clicking on this refresh, automatically my data source would get refreshed. Earlier my time was 8:21. Now let me see when my data source got refreshed. So even this way I can just do a refresh, which means basically the data will get refreshed once again. So it is asking which one to refresh. I'm just saying yes, and it is refreshing the data. So the refresh has been completed. Now if I'm going to my data source, can you see 8:25:37? So there is more than one way of doing the same refresh run. Even this way you can do that. And also one more thing, at some point of time I do not want to use this extract. I prefer going at a live connection. How to switch between that? Either you can switch it from the data source window, or you can come to this place and uncheck this use extract. As soon as you do this, uncheck this use extract, the connection will change to a live connection type. And you see that? At any point of time you can switch between these two friends. So you can just go here, click on use extract. At any point of time you can switch between these two. Now again it changes to an extract connection. Is this clear, friends? Are you okay with extracts? Do you have any questions? Okay, sure. Shantini, Sagar and Samir, thank you. Okay, now let's see what we have it there. So Tableau Extract is a special type of database optimized for use by Tableau. It is a super fast, portable and a great way to handle large data sets. So it's super fast, friends, compared to a normal source because it is having it in local. So it need not go and search in a server, it need not have any authentication, no permissions required, nothing is required. It's available in local. So whatever may be your source system, you can manage it through Extract and you can work in this offline also. What I mean by offline is, for example, you are having a database connecting to IBM DB2 database or a Teradata system. So you are taking the data until, like, assume you are having, like, till yesterday 2017, you are having 5 years of data. So tomorrow what has happened, suddenly your database is down. So the database admin team is working for recovering your database. Okay. So that point of time, your users will still have access to till today's data. Till yesterday's data they will have access to. What they will not have access is to, for the new data alone they will not have access. So you can work offline in this. This is one of the biggest advantages what we see in a database system normally. It may be your legacy system, it may be a very slow data source, a very slow source system. It doesn't matter for Tableau. If you are creating an extract, it will become super fast. You can make it super fast by creating the extract. Don't you think this is a very good feature to use whenever we are having our data spaces? Because the data extraction not only offers increased performance to the underlying data source, is unacceptably slow, but it can speed up the performance by use of the custom SQL. It slows down. So it basically helps you to improve the performance. And the next thing what they are talking here is about the reducing the load. Reduces the load on the database so that a heavy traffic can be mitigated. Heavy traffic from Tableau user traffic can be reduced here. Okay. And the next thing is something called working offline. We saw about this. So Tableau public only supports extract connections. So the Tableau public one what you are using, and we have also something called Tableau online. So these two support extract connections only mostly. So that is one more important thing, friends, what you should know. Okay, how to manage an extract? This is how we manage the extract. We just go to the extract data. That is the other way what they have just shown us. So that is something called under the edit data sources. They just went to the extract data and they have got this window. I can show you this as well. This is the other way of doing that. So you can just right click this data, edit data source, extract data, you can click. You will be getting this window there. So this window is for something doing kind of incremental refreshes. So this will get enabled only when you are using that extract. So first I need to use the extract. So that is getting enabled. Now I can just go to this particular data source and I will be able to see that option, extract data. and once I'm clicking on extract, automatically the data will get extracted here. So extract information would be passed on to my system. So 8:31:49 a.m. that's when I have clicked on this. So that is showing me the latest refreshment. So the same screen, you can see that here as well. So it's basically importing the data, and you can check this button for switching between live connection and extract connection. You can just switch among these two. Yeah, Shweta. Extract option is available only in Tableau desktop. The reason why it is not available in Tableau public is by default in Tableau public it supports only extract option. In Tableau public we do not have live connection option. So that's why you are not able to see something specific called extract there in Tableau public. But default it is Tableau public uses extract connection. Okay. So aggregation option on that window. So what is that aggregation option? Jayashree wants to know. So this aggregation is nothing but Jayashree. So whenever we are having this particular data, when I'm clicking on this extract, I can set up some aggregations. So aggregations are something like what we can say is it's nothing but like rolling up of the data. So rolling up of the data is something like, for example, if you are having your sales volume. So sales is there for all the products, and you have a sales table, and you have a sales measure there. So sales is going to be your measure there. Okay. So when you are enabling this option, what happens is, so it basically pre-computes the data and keeps things ready already. So to make it, in order to improve performance, we generally enable this option, such as aggregations. So aggregations are generally for maybe when date level they keep it as aggregated values. So aggregation itself is a separate concept there, but generally aggregation is something which is used for improving the performance of the system. So how it works is, and at a very high level I'll tell you, if there is something called year, quarter and month level data. So what it will do is, in an aggregation, generally year, quarter and month is there. Month information is available. Okay, so here what is happening is, so month level, assume that I'm having 1000 rows at month level. And the quarter level, I'll be having the, so month level I'm having 1000 rows, quarter level I'm having 3000 rows, and year level I'll have 12,000 rows. Okay, so these three things we are having currently. Okay, so when you are having the data at the month level, what it does is this aggregation, it pre-computes the data. So at month level, how many ever records are there, it computes the sales and things at the month level. Assume that my sales at this month level is 1 million. So at my quarter level, so what it does is, so when it is computing for quarter, so it may not sum up each and every date there within every month. What it will take, so there is 3 months makes a quarter, right? So each month there is 1 million records, 1 million, 1 million and 1 million records. It has pre-computed. Now what it does at a quarter level, it combines these 3 records, whatever it is saying, and it saves the result somewhere, like 3 million records for a quarter level. And at a year level, so for quarter 3 million, at a year level, so 4 into 3 million. So that would be the quarter level. So it is nothing but pre-computation of the data so that it is improvising the performance of the record. There are good online articles available for aggregations, or if you are from a data warehouse background, you should be aware on those concepts, Jayesh. You can check it online, but at a very high level, I just told you what is an aggregation. Okay, aggregation is nothing but pre-computing the data and keeping it ready to improve the performance. Okay. 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 So Manikandan has a question, not sure if it's too early to ask. Is there a way to schedule an extract refresh through scheduler so that it gets refreshed on daily basis, so that want to know possible or not? Okay. Yeah, Manikandan, definitely this is possible. Through a scheduler here, we don't have any specific scheduler here. So after you deploy this particular report in your server, that is, you need to deploy this particular report in your report, that is Tableau server. So after your deployment in Tableau server is completed, then you will be taking this data and you can schedule a refresh from your Tableau server. That is possible. Yes. You can definitely do that. That is the main purpose of doing this extract refresh. Okay. Okay, friends. So next, coming to metadata. So what do you understand by a metadata, friends? It's going to be a data about a particular data. For example, this would be a physical appearance of our Earth, right? So this would be our physical appearance of the Earth. Now, the metadata of this Earth is going to give you geographical information, the latitude, the longitude, the street name, the ocean name, the details. So this is basically a metadata, whatever we are seeing. So the physical data will be something like this at an abstract level. Metadata is going to be data about this data that is going to be having more details about the data. Okay, so this is the metadata, friends. For example, if we take a book, in that book, the name of the book, the author of the book, the publisher, the ISBN, the page numbers, these are like metadata. So these are metadata is nothing but which gives more details about a particular thing. So that we can call them as metadata. Exactly, Samir. The structure, the data type, the indexes, and these things, that we generally call them as a metadata information. That's absolutely right. So data about the data, describe the context, use, and validity of the business information, like date and time that was collected. These informations would generally be a metadata information. Okay, at Tableau level, now we'll see what is a metadata. So at a Tableau level, what is the metadata? So at a Tableau level, metadata is something like, which is going to be our dimensions here. So all the dimensions what you are seeing at Tableau level, we call them as metadata here, because this is going to be our actual data. So this is our actual data, friends. However, this is going to be the real data. So this dimension, what we see over here, they are basically going to be your metadata information, because they are providing more details about the data, right? So what is there in this data? It is having category information, the product information, the subcategory information, these things it has. So we generally tell that this is metadata information, what we are having. Okay, so I'm just closing this connection and connecting to some other data source for now, as this data source doesn't make much sense to use now. I'll connect to a sample superstore. Okay, I'll connect into the sample superstore. I'll take this orders table. I'm just placing this orders table here. Okay, so Kalpana has a question. Does measure also have? Does measure also come under metadata information? Okay, so which is giving more details about the data. So mostly the metadata information would be like the dimensions there. So measure can also come under metadata. However, mostly it would be dimensions only, Kalpana. Most of the scenarios it would be the dimensions. So dimensions are something which is giving like more attribute related information, right? Because they are going to give more information about the data. So by a measure, why I didn't say measure is, for example, I'm saying sales is $20,000. Does it make sense to you if I'm saying just sales is $20,000? Now how this is looking? The sales for iPhones in India is $20,000, which is like 15% of overall sales all over the world. When I'm saying this statement, how this is seeming to you? So metadata are something which are going to give more details about the data there. So it's mostly, that's why it is mostly categorical things. So that's why mostly dimensions are helping you understand that better than measures. You got the difference, Kalpana? Okay, friends. So now what we will do, I'm just going to show you how to create a drill down reports in Tableau, friends. So we can do something called drill down reports. That is like using this metadata, we can perform some drill down operations. I'll show you how to do that. Okay. So assume that I have my product name. So assume that there is category, subcategory is available. Okay, it's available. So what I'm going to do here is, friends, I'll take my categorical data. Okay, I'll take my category, subcategory. So I need to have a hierarchy chain created now. Okay, so first I'll show you how this is looking without hierarchies. Then I'll show you how it is looking with hierarchy. So I'm taking this category, dropping it in my rows. Next, I'm taking my subcategory, dropping it again in my rows. So this is saying in furniture, under bookcases, what is my profit? I would like to see my profit. So I'm taking my profit and dropping it in this field. So bookcases is having negative profits and others are having some amount of profit percentage. Okay. So now what I'm doing, the same thing, I'm not having this category here. I'm not having this subcategory here. Only thing what I have is just the profit percentage alone. Okay. So now what I'm saying, I'm taking this particular subcategory. I'm going to create a hierarchy here. Okay. So how to create a hierarchy? I'll show you. Click this subcategory item, drag it on top of your screen. Just drag it where you are able to see category. Drop it over category, above category. Just on top of category, you just make it, just place it just above category. That means not above means place it where category is there. As soon as I do that, it is saying a hierarchy is saying category, subcategory, hierarchy. So I'm just having it a name created for this. So now a separate group got created for me. Category, subcategory. Can you see here a tree-like symbol is there, which is available, which shows you the category, the subcategory item. Everything put together, it is showing me in a single view there. Okay. So when you are dragging and dropping category on top of this, then automatically a hierarchy kind of thing is getting created. Now what I wanted my product name also below this. So I can just take my product name. I'll just scroll above. I can just place it here where the line is coming. Can you see that line? Where that line is coming, I'm just placing it here. First would be category, next subcategory level, then product level. So I'll be getting these three things here. So I can take it up, drop it in the row shelf like this. Now can you see what is happening? A plus symbol is coming there on top. I can just click on this plus symbol. First category comes, next by subcategory, and then next I'm clicking again one more plus symbol because it's going to give me at product level. And you see against the bookcases for each and every product, how is my sales looking? How are things looking? I'm just seeing that. I'm just changing the view to a different view. So under technology, this is the one which is having most profit. And there are also other least amount profits which are available here. So like this hierarchies would be really useful for us in performing various things there, friends. So this is one example to show you how to create a hierarchy. So here we have the category, the subcategory, and then you have a hierarchy created like this. So you can always add extra fields to this as and when you wish to. You can basically add extra items to this particular thing. Sure, Shantini, I can show that to you once again, not a problem. So friends, whenever we are using some items in hierarchy, we can remove that from the hierarchy by right clicking that and click on remove hierarchy so that the items are totally getting removed from the view. If I want to clear a sheet, I can just use an option shortcut here, which is Alt Shift Backspace, or it is just clear. This particular shortcut. Okay, we can use any one of that. So now I'll show you how to create a hierarchy again. So we have category and we have subcategory. What I will do, I'll take this subcategory item, drag this subcategory item, carefully see this, friends, drag this and place it on top of category. I'm just going to place it on top of category. So when I'm placing it on top of category, first thing will be like category, then subcategory. This is basically the name what I can give. I'm just leaving it as it is. And after I create it, I'll be getting some window like this. Maybe within this category, I can just add my product names, product ID, the region, or other things. So I can just add that. So I'm just taking my product name, dropping it below this subcategory. I'll just placing it here. So category, subcategory, and by product name. We are basically placing this out. So as and when I'm using it hierarchy, I can just drag and drop it here and drag and drop my sales here. Either I can double click or drag and drop, both will work. Once I click on the plus symbol, I will be able to scroll it down further. Category, the subcategory level, and by product level. You can just see those items. This is clear, Shantini. Sure, Shantini, not a problem. You're welcome. Okay, so this is what it is we have. So category, the subcategory level, and also you can place similar items by creating a folder there. So for example, I'm just going to create a folder here. Okay, right click. I'm just right clicking here. I'm going to create, and there is something called folder. What we can create it. Okay, so folders are currently not enabled here. I can just right click here. Maybe I'll just click somewhere in this area. Okay, by default my folder option is not enabled for me. Let me see. So maybe I need to right click it in an empty space there. So I cannot click anywhere above a dimension or thing. I just have to come to an empty space here. Right click it here. Right click here. So it's not actually allowing me to create a folder by some reason. I don't know what has happened. So let me see if it's allowing me if I'm clicking somewhere here. Okay, you can create some folders here and basically do some group by operations there. So when you are creating folders, for me this folder option is disabled somehow, but generally just this folder can be created by this way, where you are seeing your screen there. So under this you can just click and click on right click on that, you will be getting a folder option there. Let me see if I am able to get that somewhere here. No. Create folder is disabled. Use group by folder. Okay. Okay. Why this is disabled for me is I need to group by the data source table. I have to group by folder first. So the issue was with my system. So first I need to group by folder. So now this option is getting enabled. Can you see here, friends? Earlier I was not getting create folder option because the data source, the group by what I had done by mistake, it was group by data source table. So when I had to group by the data source level, this was not allowing me to create a folder. So now what I had to do is I just had to make it group by folder, and then you need to see this option. If you are not getting this option, try this out, friends. So you can create a folder here. Folder is nothing but like a normal folder what we create within Windows. It's very similar to that. So I'm creating a folder called GEO. Okay. So this is going to be a geographical folder. So wherein I can just take some items, place it within that folder. It is just like a placeholder only. Nothing very specific about this. It can just accommodate some items. So then this would be useful. This is generally used for grouping purpose. So if you are going to have large amount of columns like 150, 200 columns and all, that point of time you cannot see by fields there. So it will be very difficult for you. So if you are creating folders and keeping it within the folder, it's easy for you to know. Okay, all geographical fields are there. It's in this folder. Okay, so I can just basically go to this folder and take all geographical fields from here. So that's what I can do. So that is the main purpose of creating a folder. So this will get enabled only when you are grouping by folder. So you are grouping all these items by folder. If you are grouping by data source table, this option will not get enabled for you. Okay, that is one more thing to note. And you can just place the items. So this is generally for managing the metadata, and these operations you can basically do it with the metadata. So this example is to show you that, and I think you are aware, right? There are various data types that is available within Tableau. So just a quick look on what are the data types that we have. So Tableau supports these data types. I have shared this to you already, but I'm just sharing it once again. Not sure if you have gone through that. There is something called Boolean data types, which is something like true or false. And it supports date values, December 31, 2016, like that date. Date and time, which has date plus time also. And geographical values, such as the city name, the state name, the place name. These are geographical values. And there is something called text or string values. That is like what are values and the character values, what we call. And there is something called number with decimal, which supports decimal places, and whole numbers, which does not support decimal places. So these are some of the different data types that we have in Tableau. I think we have seen that sometime, but not with an example. So at any point of time, if you wish to change the data type of any of the items here, you just click on here and then say what data type you want this to be changed to. So this row ID, I am changing it to string. Can you see here? Now my row ID is changed as string there. It's no more a numeric field. Even if I want to change it back again, I can just go here and I can just change it back again. That should be fine. So like this, I can play around with this data and I can change the data type anytime what I wanted. Okay, friends. So this is how we change this data type. So we will continue on the visual analytics part on tomorrow's class, friends. We will see what is visual analytics and stuff like that, why we require visual analytics, and we will make use of this marks card and other pane and windows there to make use of to see further about this visual analytics. So with this, I'm stopping today's session, friends. So one thing what I wanted to tell you all is, so yesterday I got a call from our Edureka team person that the feedback for our classes, maybe if everyone it is possible, feedback are something very important for them, friends. So at least if not for me, it's very important for them to evaluate the performance of a class. So basically you can share the feedback after this session is done. You will be sent a mail, I believe, after 2 hours, 3 hours time. Not sure if persons who are in other time zones can do that. I'll check with them if they can do that as well, because 2-3 hours time would be very late for you all. So persons who can share the feedback for now, please do share it. And for any of the improvements what I have, please share it with me directly, friends. That would be helping us more. as it can help me understand where I'm lagging also. Okay, or what your expectations I didn't meet. I'll get to know that. So do you have something, friends? If you have any feedback, you can just ping me now. I can just let you know, or maybe try to explain it in a different way to you again. Okay, my email ID is ram_gry@yahoo.co.in. So this is my email ID, friends. Thank you, Samir, for your inputs. So definitely you can let me know for anything, friends, for any positive, negative, both things. So even I would like to hear more negative things so that I can improve myself further. So thanks for your inputs, friends. Thank you, Lopita. Thank you, Samir. Thank you, Prajakti. Thank you, Manigandan. Thanks, Sagar, Shantini, Jayashri, Shweta. You all have a great day there, and good night for other friends joining from other locations. Thank you, Chandu. Have a great lunch. Thank you, Hasani. Thanks for your feedback. You have a great day there. So please share your feedback in that email also, friends. Thank you. Thank you, Prajakti. See you all, friends. You all have a great day. Bye-bye.